Oh.
Discernment is absolutely key, taking care of your empathic body, because you're taking it all on through your senses, and I have to be an observer, and I have to be there as in non-judgment, but I have to find the information, and then I have to find a way to articulate it to empower another person with it.
That's a tall order there.
Well, I have been blessed to be able to do that.
I want to talk more about your psychic mediumship. So if I understand correctly, it was around the age of 37 that you actually started developing these abilities.
Yeah.
And did you accept them at that time? I heard you said you had a party. Take us back to that time and what was happening.
Well, I didn't quite accept them at the time. While I was in that very, very happy state, and everything just seemed to be happening automatically, I didn't feel like I needed anything outside of myself, because it was a feeling that I can't exactly explain. It feels like you died and went to heaven.
Like you were empowered.
It's the biggest party ever.
Wow.
Yeah, and then everywhere I went, the energy came off of my body about 50, 60 feet, and I was reading people. It would happen in natural ways, but they'd be pulled right to me and say, I don't know why I'm here, but I feel like I need to ask you something.
So you were putting out this phenomenal energy.
Oh, yes. And people who are actually enjoy, do. We all gravitate towards people who are alive and are happy.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a very alive state of joy, vibrating out there in the fields. You know?
Yeah, I can understand that. You want to be around that because you want to be part of that energy.
Yeah. And it's safe and it's loving. Yeah.
So as a psychic medium, could you tell us, without being real specific of your clients, what kind of problems do people come to you with?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything you can imagine, from the loss of a parent and their grieving, to having problems with their teenagers, of course, marriage. I want to find a mate. A lot to do about career, and especially now the financial picture that's going on in their life. And so it really has a wide scope of investigation, and I'm never bored, because each person is so unique in their field, and I feel privileged to do the work that I do for them, especially when my goal and intention is to truly empower them, so that they feel really good about themselves, and also to honor the information that they receive.
And I imagine you have people that will come back to you, like somebody will go back to a chiropractor. You probably have people that come back on a regular basis. Well,
they come back when they need to have the real conversation. That's pretty much what I tell them. When you want to have the real conversation, I'm here and we can talk. So I don't encourage them becoming dependent on me, because my job is to make them become more trusting of their own soul, their own self, to tell themselves the truth, which most people don't tell themselves the truth.
Well, that's true. I mean, excuse me, I don't mean to be facetious, but that's correct.
Yeah.
Do you see your abilities growing all the time?
Oh, they do.
Now, how does this happen?
I can't explain that to you. I wake up and I know there's been an alteration, and now I'm experiencing bilocation, and what that's like is I'm standing in my body, and in my psychicness I see myself leaving. It's like an out-of-body experience. And then I see myself in what we could call a cosmic spacesuit out in space. And then there's a third part of me that is observing this trinity of these different places. And I think it's a training, because when I go out and look at myself in space, then I can see myself back down on Earth. And there's, of course, the silver cord of life force that's there.
Are you astral projecting?
Pardon?
Are you astral projecting when you say?
Yes, but I'm in training. I'm doing something and I don't know for why. I suspect I have that there's a very important reason for this, but it's so beautiful. It's such a I just feel blessed in the way I am being guided from spirit, because I don't have traumas.
Now, I've known you for a long time, and I know how sincere and what a great psychic you are, but you and I think differently because I'm not where you are. I'm the, you know, like Abraham Hicks, she does the mediumship and he asks the questions.
Well,
I'm like
she is a channel and I am a conscious channel, so there's the difference. I don't go into trance because I'm in dual consciousness present, and if I want to, I could be standing in the control room right now behind the director. But you know, I watch how I use my energy because that's where you have to be accountable for your own physical body, because a lot of sensitives are ill.
Because they take on that energy.
They take on well, they don't take care of their physical. They're out a lot of their body, a lot. So they're not realizing that this vehicle is what holds the preciousness of those abilities. And we're here at a very special time in life. At least that's what I think about my timing of where I'm at in my life right now with the gifts that God has given me. And I'm a late bloomer for a reason. And it just continues to strengthen. It's like a muscle, and it extends itself out in this very gradual kind of way. So it's exciting, though.
It is, but I was going to say, because we're Create Your Own Reality, and we are both into the metaphysical, but we're also wanting to grab more people to open their minds to this. I was just going to say that I know you, and I know you're sincere, and what you do is great. And we think differently, so the stuff you're saying, I'm trying to travel there with you. People who are watching it can say, what are you talking about? But that's just because people don't understand.
Let me give you an example of why I think I'm learning to bilocate. If I had a client on the East Coast who is ill, and with my skills that I have in my healing abilities, if I bilocate and I could stand in that hospital room or in that person's home, and I could utilize my body as a conduit for energy transfer, then that would be a reason for me to do that. If I needed to view or something that was going on for a client in, say, a spouse, they're on a trip. Are they really where they say they are?
Oh dear.
No, I don't think so.
You may get other kind of clients after this show.
Well, I just think there's a moral a moral piece in this for me, as I don't have to do anything. I can choose as it comes towards me. I have a choice whether to participate or not. And so I won't do anything that crosses a boundary that I have for myself.
I was going to say, what you're talking about is what Edgar Cayce did. I mean, he was a photographer, and he wasn't even into metaphysics, and all of a sudden he is reading people that are, and I was...
Well, he was asleep. When
he was asleep, yeah. He didn't even know what he was saying.
No, he had no recall, but it did use up his life force.
Yeah, but...
It did.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now, as a psychic, you're able to experience, this leads right into this, different type of thinking than most people. When we talk sometimes, I go with you, but then I say, wait a minute, I got to understand that. And you think in terms of energy and symbolism, right?
Yes.
And can you explain that?
I'll give you an example. I was doing some medical intuitive work recently, and this woman has an illness, and so I went to the child in her psychically, and they usually appear between 3 and 5 years old, and in a platform psychically where I actually interface with the child, and the child talks to me and I talk to the child. It's the greatest, I thank God for this gift, because these children, this inner child in people really has not had contact with anyone sometimes ever. And when I show up and they can feel me, for the most part, I'd say 98% will participate with me, and then there's that small percentage that basically is very wounded. That tells me a lot too. Yeah. So everything's about a balance. So this woman, this little girl, was about 3 years old, and when I was looking at her, and this was a phone consultation,